It's not Christmas without Grandma. All the family's dressed in black. And we can't help but wonder, should we open up her gifts or send them back? Grandma got ran over by a reindeer. That's what the song is. Have you all listened to the entirety of it? I don't think I ever truly listened, even as an adult, to the lyrics. Though I will say, I have a reason why I actually completely avoided this song. And I'll go ahead and dive into my own relations with this song. So I remember the animated movie that would come on back in the day, I believe on ABC Family 31 Days of Christmas or 25 Days of Christmas. I think 31 Days was for Halloween because they did Halloween too. But I remember this animated movie where Grandma got ran over. She lived. She had amnesia, I think it was. And I used to watch this with my Nana. In fact, the last time I did watch it was with my Nana. My Nana passed away in 2012. I believe it was in February. So it was actually after Christmas. But she left behind either these gifts or it was money to get these gifts because we didn't see her for Christmas as she was passing away actively from stage 4 cancer. We did say our goodbyes, and it's not as hard to talk about it now, honestly, especially once I kind of realized that she she wasn't actually a good human being, honestly, specifically with how she treated her children and how strongly I feel of my mom having to have medically neglected me. I feel now, knowing as an adult what my Nana has done, I felt that she had done just that to her own children. And this is something that's really hard because I'm not the victim in this. So it's not like I can say I forgive her or don't forgive her because I'm not the person that has that right to give or withhold forgiveness. But I look at her much differently now, right? I don't associate her as kindly and happily as I once did. But it was very hard as a child, looking at what could have been with my Nana. And especially around the holidays, especially Halloween, leading up to Thanksgiving and Christmas, all of this just really made all of us so happy. So happy. And I definitely feel that when she passed away, a lot of that Christmas spirit in my family and for a lot of the holidays actually died with her. And this is something that I feel is very common. Um, Traditionally, grandparents, specifically even grandmothers, tend to have this way over the family dynamic of leading the family, funny enough. And a lot of people where this happens feel the same way that once that person is gone, they were essentially the glue that held the family together. It changes everything. And I definitely feel the same with my family with that. But for me, Christmas is still sad time right now because with my health, I am still passing out. I had my gallbladder surgery and I am still passing out. I have a cardiologist referral and I'm waiting on my insurance to approve this referral. But they do believe the most hypothesized thing and the first thing we're likely going to check for is POTS. I've already kind of, while waiting for a diagnosis, looked into the disorder and looked at specifically the type of lifestyle changes, including dietary, and I've already started to apply them to myself because I want to give myself the best shot I possibly can, especially since with the state that I'm in, I really shouldn't be working. But I need to work. I need to save up money. I need to be out of here by the 4th. And um, I have to have money for that, right? So I'm pushing myself. I unfortunately did cause, it seems I had caused a bile leak. It doesn't seem to be active though. And I do have a follow up appointment on the 30th. But essentially, after they removed my gallbladder, because I immediately went into work and immediately went into working as many hours as I did, including going into overtime to try and make as much money as I possibly can. While walking to and from work, this had been too much and caused a tiny leak to happen. When I went to the emergency room and did a CT scan, they didn't see an active leak, but they did see an accumulation of biofluid in my gallbladder bed. So we that's everything there. But I'm still having this fainting, right? I so that's the scariest thing. My children are not with me until I get this fainting corrected. I have already fainted around my son alone with him, and I refuse to allow this to happen with my other children. It would be different if, say, my children were like 12 and 13, a bit older. But my children are both in diapers, and well, my daughter's in pull ups. So it's not like it's exactly safe in order for them to be with me. And so for this Christmas, I am alone. And it's really hard. And it's also hard because I'm having to save all my money. I haven't bought them gifts yet. But at the same time, everything's going to get on sale and everything after Christmas. And after Christmas and the holidays, I'll see them again and be able to give them their Christmas gifts and purchase them as well. But it does disappoint me. And I feel like a massive disappointment as a parent. But um, I will say though, my son's birthday, I did see him right before his birthday. He is a December baby, and I was able to buy him a $5 gift. I bought him a puzzle because he seems to be doing puzzles now, and he seems to be doing really good with them. So I bought him a new puzzle. And everything else I gave him was actually toys he already had, but it's been a while since he's been with me, and I've seen these toys, so they're basically like but I wanted him to have more, and at the end of the day, he has surrounded by toys. Surrounded by toys. He truly doesn't need more toys, but it's just the inclusion at the end of the day and knowing that I want to be able to do these things. A lot of people have a lot of different types of grief for the holidays, whether it be from not being around their children or their own parents or the people they love in general. There's a lot of grief, and this grief can almost make and break an entire holiday, especially when these holidays are based around family. We have so many movies. I think the most popular one that comes to mind is Scrooge, right? Who's very bitter and alone and bah humbug, you know? Um, but he gains a sense of happiness and greatness when he starts allowing people into his life, right? At the end of the movie, the reason that really gets him into the Christmas spirit is getting that sense of care again for others. And I definitely feel that this Christmas has been a really sad one for me. I wouldn't say it's the worst though. And for that, I have to say it's a win because it's not the worst. Um, it feels close to being the worst, but I think as a child, understanding that Christmas was going to be the last Christmas my Nana was even going to be alive. Even though I have a different perspective on it now, it definitely was the worst Christmas I ever had. Really going through all those emotions. Like even now, like I feel this sense of sadness, not necessarily grieving the loss of my Nana, but more so of just refeeling that sense of grief in my memories. Um, and just how sad I was. I was so sad that Christmas. Um, 2011 Christmas just hit so differently than any other Christmas before or after. But the song itself is an interesting one. When you look at all the lyrics as a whole and the kind of darker context and insinuations with this song, um, I hadn't looked at this for so long because I used to watch and listen to this with my Nana, and that was back when I was 10 and under. But now looking at it as an adult, it is very obvious that Grandma was murdered and possibly SA'd. Um, Completely darker connotations with that as well. You also see within it about how Grandpa's getting friendly with, I think it said cousin Bella, which is it raises a question for me of the way that's written, if it's supposed to be like a married in cousin or if this is literally possibly incestuous, you know. I'm going to assume the marriage though. Let's have some sort of positivity in all of this. Okay, married in cousin, right? But looking at to this song and reflecting on this song as a whole and thinking about it, it almost like reminds me just how much we romanticize everything, right? Because had we never romanticized this song, we would all be aware of just how truly dark it actually is. But in a way, not only is it romanticization, but it's also nostalgia. Because I would also argue that this specific song has been passed down for quite some time. And as you repeat things, you just repeat things. You're not understanding. So I can also see this as a simple argument of just nostalgia, a little bit of ignorance, some romanticisms. Um, but also, I think as well is a part of it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm certain there are other versions because this version is specifically by Irish someone from the Rovers, right? I actually have it pulled up back here, but it's very interesting because I'm pretty certain there's other versions of the song, and I'm keep thinking back. I might have to finally watch the animated movie. Maybe that's the movie I've been trying to figure out what I want to watch all day. That is holiday, and I couldn't get on one. I've just been watching YouTube videos instead. But maybe that is the movie I should watch because I want to hear the song and hear if it's the same version inside of a kids movie. I'm pretty certain it's not. I'm pretty certain the version that's in the movie doesn't have those more explicit lyrics in it. I'm pretty certain it was changed because I cannot remember. I was shocked looking up the lyrics to this song. I was like, I don't remember this even being in there. Am I crazy, or did I just always listen to another version? And I think that's also another thing that can explain why this is not really thought about of the song is the different versions that come out and people's takes and people's covers, which so amazing, so beautiful. I love a good cover, especially a nice alternative cover of holiday and other genres of songs. But this is kind of where things also get lost in translation. I feel like the most popular, well-known example I can say is the Zombies. So you had Bad Wolf cover the song "Zombie" by the Cranberries, and with the, and I love the Bad Wolves version. Don't get me wrong, I do love it. However, it definitely took away the point of the song, specifically of the Irish War, where children were literally involved in and died. That's what the song is about. And I'm definitely going to talk about that song in a future video, so don't worry. But we have here where things get lost in translation with certain covers and certain meanings and certain things just dissipate. And the new generation that gets raised or more aware of the newer version won't be able to connect and understand the original as well. Or if they are, they end up becoming really shocked in the first place of what the original is truly about. But honestly, I don't necessarily think this is something that should be stopped. There should always be new takes and new versions and new ideas added on to existing things because I argue most of everything has been thought about already. There isn't a whole lot of originality here. And I also argue at the end of the day that we have literally done this for centuries. I mean, almost any modern movie is somehow based off of something, a true story, a retelling of a story, or is inspired by something. You have a lot of things that take inspiration of multiple medias and combine them all together. You have different things where musicians will create songs based off of plays that they um, read in school, the Shakespearean citation, just looking at all these different sources of media, I really think now what we're going to see more of is just this continuous bit of continually just seeing everything becoming more repackaged into something different, something just slightly different, something a little cool, something with its own little flair, own little take. But one thing we always have to keep in mind is when we really, really like something, we should dive into why we like it by understanding the meaning behind it and understanding the sources behind it as well and ask why. That's a question that I annoyed the crap out of my parents with, especially as well my preacher when I did go to church as a wee child. But the question why is something that is always on my mind, and why I get into these topics, anyways, because I'm questioning why. Why is a song like this? Why did they ask this question in this song? What would be my answer? This is the foundation of me, honestly. But I think it is very important to ask why and to understand. And I think really, it almost feels like you get a bigger picture because you can see at the end of the day with so many people that make different covers and different versions of things, you can see what started off as one picture and how it changes through perspective. So almost like a picture that was once 2D becoming 3D, becoming 4D, and so forth, right? That's essentially what's happening here is we're building things up with each and every layer of perspective. And I think that's actually a really cool thing to be able to dissect and talk about and research and wonder and ask why on. Why do people have these perspectives? Why did this version go to this version? Why? And the more you research, the more you look at the different versions, and the more you actually read the lyrics, the more you understand. And the more sometimes you wish you didn't understand. I feel a little I'm honestly in shock, really, that this song was just so dark cuz I feel like now I as an adult I've become aware of almost all the songs I've listened to growing up and being like, "Wow, that was inappropriate," or "That was really dark." But this one has caught me off guard for certain. So if you've never truly listened to Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer fully, now is the time to listen to it fully. It is really dark, really sad. I know I'm laughing a lot, but I'm a very nervous person and I laugh a lot when I'm very nervous. So, uh, this is your calling to go ahead and do that. And I hope it doesn't ruin your Christmas, honestly. I think that um, everyone should, no matter what position they are today, should take a few minutes for themselves, reflect on something that makes them happy. Because at the end of the day, the best gift you can give yourself is a little bit of a peace of mind, even if it is just for a few minutes. Realistically, I hope everyone can be able to take a little bit more than a few minutes, but I understand multiple different situations, multiple people, multiple lives. Some people are working, some people are raising their children, and their children are going crazy and ape on this holiday, and they do not have a whole lot of time to themselves. So, even if it's just for a few minutes, the one gift you should give yourself today is a little bit of peace of mind. I know I did. I did this morning. I slept in. I refused to come out of my room for until 2 p.m. 2 p.m. I just laid there, didn't even get on my phone. No, ma'am. Didn't even get on my phone. Just laid there, slept, wake up, and just exist. And I'm actually really happy I did that. On one hand, I felt really lazy at first, but I needed it, especially with my fainting issue going on. But please give yourself some grace, have some faith in yourself. Things are going to go great. Just keep on moving, keep on striving. As a little update for my situation going on, um, I was blessed this Christmas. Specifically, I do have a Snapchat. It is the same name as my YouTube channel. Please do not harass me. I will immediately block you if you harass me. But I do have a Snapchat, and I did post about my situation, and somebody had gifted me $300. $300. Uh, I was, I'm still in shock, honestly. Even my own blood hasn't given me a cent. So it's just a very, very, um, it very much caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting anything really from anyone. Another person did send me $15 as well. I will say that I think with the money that I do currently have, the money that I just received from these donations, from these two people, and from the money I expect to be paid on the day before I need to be out of here, I do believe I have enough money to stand on. All right. I'm also looking as well. I heard of actually an apartment complex here in town, and I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, but apparently they specifically help out low income families, and I'm trying to put an application in. I really hope, really hope I get this, because that would be like really good to be able to get an apartment instead of having to go into an extended stay. But we'll see how that works. I'm not going to get my hopes too far up, because I know as well there are other people that are inquiring about these apartments. And more than likely, what is going to happen is I'm going to be in an extended stay until I can find a place. But with this money, I can get that. So, for everyone worried about my situation, thank you for the empathy and the kindness. Um, Hopefully, I get that apartment, but either way, do not worry. This money also, the one thing I'm really worried about is if I do end up having to go to an extended stay, I'm going to need to transport all of my stuff to my storage unit. But the problem with that is I do not have a license or a car. And I may end up having to throw away all of my belongings, which I really would like to avoid that. Um, but with the money that I do have at there, I definitely don't gotta worry about walking nowhere, because I can definitely Uber with this money, which is very, very good. I had already been able to save up $475. I did have 500 originally, but I had to dip in to some of that for my last visit to the ER. I had to Uber there. Um, so that's why it went down a little bit. And then I get paid on January 3rd, the day before I've got to be out of here. So I'm hoping everything works out. The financials, so long as I have the financials, I can have a sense of security. I also have talked out my game plan with quite a few people, caseworker, lawyer. Seems to be good. Um, and hopefully everything works out. I really would like to stay in the area if I can because of that cardiologist referral and where it's at. But if I have to end up going to an extended stay, I'm going to go where it's cheaper to be in an extended stay, which means I'm going to have to leave here and start over. Though, at least in this case, I'll just go through a new PCP where I would move, ask for a referral, start the process again for insurance to approve the referral, um, and then get the proper diagnosis of what exactly is causing this fainting. But the health and the roof, not too much worried about the roof anymore with my finances. My health is what's been scaring me. But I think I think it'll be manageable. I think we have hit the worst of what it's going to be, especially as I'm making changes on my own and treating things on my own, taking it easy, being more mindful of what I'm eating, keeping up with hydration. Salt intake is very important if it is POTS, and so I've been kind of experimenting with that as well a bit. Sleep is very important, so I've been making sure, like today, I got us a lot of rest. Trying to upkeep with sleep. It was actually really bad because my eyes started twitching like nonstop for like an hour yesterday. It was so bad. I've been really stressed with everything going on, but of course I'm going to be stressed with everything going on. But I've definitely relaxed today, and I don't want anyone else to be stressing too much. I have a game plan. I'm certain the game plan is going to work very well. I have a plan A. I have a plan B. I've got other plans in my head where, worst case, worst, something has to happen with this, that, or the other. I've got a bunch of things going through. And I don't want anybody to um, be really, really upset or worried about me at all. So I do want to be transparent and update people about things and about me because I still feel like it's important, but I don't also want people to be too worried, and I especially don't want to cause anybody any distress throughout all of this, especially when the world is pretty crazy right now, and a lot of people, especially in the lower to middle class right now, are stressing and hurting. I'm not alone in this. So, give yourself some grace as well. And I hope everyone has a wonderful Merry Christmas, unless you're a PDF file. Thank you.